Most athletes will fail their max lift at a comp for one reason only, and it is that they have gone in without a clear strategy. You shouldn't be trying to hit 10 lifts in your 5-minute window, and you should know in advance what your 4 key lifts are. And when you do that, you stop feeling frantic and the stress disappears, because too much emotion on the comp floor leads to shaky lifts, poor technique, and ultimately fails. So let's get into a quick and easy strategy that you can steal for your next competition.
Hey team, this one is going to be how to strategize a max lift at a competition when you have limited time. Now, often when you are faced with an event like this, you have 5, 6, maybe 7 minutes to find a max, which if you were doing this in the gym would be so unrealistic. Normally in a gym, you take 30, maybe even 60 minutes to find a max lift, whereas when you're in a competition, you have a really finite window to do this, and therefore the strategy that you go into this with is so important. The most important thing you need to do prior to this event is do a really realistic practice. So not just something where you throw the weights on, you're like, oh, that'll do. Actually do a proper warm-up, take your time and find out exactly what your numbers are. So let's say this lift is a clean. I've got a 1 rep max power clean in a competition and I've got 5 minutes to find it, and it comes after a workout. What I would be doing is testing these numbers and then probably retesting them with the workout prior and seeing if they are similar. You want to have solid what you're aiming for before you go in so that you can have an appropriate strategy in the actual competition. When you get to your 5-minute window, you're going to have space to do maybe 4 lifts only, so you can't be wasting them. So let's just say in the practice, in the power clean, I decided or found that my current 1RM was 60. I felt like the heaviest weight I could do safely and know I was definitely going to hit it is 55. And then I tried 62 and it was a close fail. So I've got these 3 numbers in my head. When I'm in the warm-up prior to the event, I'm going to spend a good amount of time warming up, get all my nerves out, do loads and loads of warm-up jumps from the empty bar up. I'm going to feel really confident at a light weight. I'm going to do all my mobility and I'm going to be primed amazingly. And in that warm-up, I'm going to warm up to my max safe lift. So for me, that was 55 kilos for that power clean. Then there's going to be a period of time where you're waiting before you have to go onto the floor to actually do your event. Now, depending on how long that wait time was, or depending on how nervous you are, you could add a extra lift in here. So if you're particularly nervous, it's a first competition for you, you feel the adrenaline all of a sudden when everyone is watching you, or you've had a really long time since you last did your warm-up, I would put in a nervous lift where it can be anything just to get your confidence up. So maybe 45 or 50 kilos in this example. Then the first lift that you really want to go for is your max safe lift. We don't want to be faffing around doing lots of jumps before this. You need to go in and hit a really good lift at the maximum load that you know you're going to hit. And if you got that score, you'd be happy with it. So 55 isn't too different from 60. In my warm-ups, I was very confident I could do that. So 55 kilos is going to be my opening lift, and you should be very confident that that is going to be a tick on your score sheet. The second lift that you go into is what you are expecting to get. So the 1RM that you tested in practice, so in this example, it's 60 kilos, that wants to be your lift 2. Now, lift 3, if you didn't hit lift 2, would be a repeat of it. But let's assume that you got your 60 kilos. Your third lift would be your bonus. This is your, okay, I nearly got it in practice. There's loads of adrenaline. I've got people screaming at me. I'm just going to go for it and try and hit that bonus lift, which is 62. Again, lift 4 will depend on lift 3. Say you missed it, then we'd go for it again. You should have time in a 5-minute window to do 4 lifts. If you hit it, then you shoot for the stars and you go up to 65. Now, when you have such a short time frame, it's important that we're not trying to do any more than 4 lifts or 5 lifts if you get the extra nervous one in, because the more that you are doing in that time frame, the less likely it is that you're going to be able to hit a higher rep number. You need a good amount of rest for your body to restore and be able to perform powerfully, which means 4 lifts is really your max. So knowing these numbers prior to going in is so key. All right, team, that's all for today with your max lift comp strategy.